Welcome, everyone. Before the lunch, I know this is the hardest spot to start off for any session. I'll try and keep it very simple, straightforward. I'll try and build from the concept shared by Asif and Hashim and Kashif and Shakil Jajja, so that we have that relevance and continuity to the conversation that you guys have already listened to. A quick snapshot into who Algo is before we jump into the topic of today. Algo is a North American-based firm that has a center of excellence in Lahore. We deal with 30 of the Fortune 100 globally, and in interest of time, I'm quickly going to skip a few slides just to showcase that we have this presence in retail vertical, from retail to high-end electronics, from media and entertainment to CPG to fashion apparel. So we cover in retail primarily, many brands across the globe. I'll quickly jump into the topic of today, which is future of AI, machine learning, and analytics in supply chain. And before we jump into this, I just want to talk about a few use cases of machine learning and understand a little bit in more detail in terms of where those use cases can be originated from. So we can talk about use cases around merchandise financial planning, the pre-season side of the business that you guys do, the in-season side of merchandise financial plan, and the kind of data that resides in not only within the four walls of your own retail, but also outside of the four walls to get to that robustness of the plan. So whenever we talk about those kind of plans, there are certain use cases of AI and machine learning that we want to leverage on. And building from there, we can talk about assortment planning and what is the role of machine learning and AI in assortment planning. And by when we get to that point of diminishing returns where we decide the breadth and depth of that assortment for each store and how do we localize it, I think there are a lot of different use cases where we can automate the obvious and make sure the work that we do repeatedly through human interface within our spreadsheets is automatable. But before I go there, I want everybody to have a look at this slide for a minute and understand where they are currently in their own data maturity. आज आप लोगों की organizations कहाँ खड़ी हैं इस data maturity curve के अंदर? And when we work with a lot of companies locally in Pakistan and globally, we find them here in this space of speculative. And a lot of companies in Pakistan where we have them in the space of reactive, where there is data, there are system of records, but the systems are not talking to each other. So that is where we are struggling at this point in time to find those use cases and configure those use cases in Pakistan so that, those data maturity curve is not at that level at this point in time. We had siloed manual data, feeds coming out from your footfall counters and, the financial system separately operating and your point of sale separately operating. But then we do not have this integration of data as of yet, where all that data talk to each other at the same length, at the same frequency, and utilizing that, we are able to configure those machine learning and AI use cases. So the journey of configuring machine learning and AI use cases is graduating one company from one state of data maturity to the next stage and slowly graduating it to the level of perfection. And I'll take a pause here so that you guys can go through this. And this is something a lot of people can relate to this. AI has been explained to us in a way where it is a black box for a lot of us. And for the last year and a half in Pakistan, we have worked a lot in terms of the explainability part of AI, what it can do. A lot of the CEOs here, मेरा ख्याल है कि उनको ये बहुत aggressively काम करना चाहिए in understanding the role of data science in the retail and how do we create a role that we normally call as citizen data science. And with a lot of companies that we are working with right now, we feel that there is that level of maturity coming in slowly. There are a lot of functional experts who now know Power BI. who now know Python and who want to experiment with those kind of technologies to automate the obvious. But significantly, working with AI, I think AI has a huge role. As soon as we are able to explain that and bridge that gap of explainability to the C-level executives. I wanted to present, and this is the last minute slide that we have created. I wanted to present this gap and deficit of skill between industry globally and for regional firms. If you see this spider chart in the middle, and all those areas are the skill blocks which are required to run a robust machine learning AI-enabled retail. I've mapped Pakistan or regional firms in Pakistan in the middle. And you see there is a huge deficit in certain areas where global firms are far more mature in the data maturity, in cross-functional domain expertise, in sales and operation execution, in data science. But we need to work in terms of understanding where your organization is. And this is a good starting point. And I encourage everyone to take a picture of this and use this to map their organization from level 0 to level 5 and understand where they are currently in terms of maturity of data for them. And when it comes to making sure that वो digital transformation का mindset आपकी organizations के अंदर prevail करे, it's just not that machine learning alone, the algorithm alone can answer those questions. You need to have a recipe where machine learning, human expert curation on top of machine learning, and we always say it is machine generated and human curated outcomes that win the race. And we have this cross-functional process design along with third-party data, along with having a data refinery in place that Asif talked about, self-generating data, making sure you have a data refinery wherever there is a requirement to augment any information, your system is able to augment that. So once you have these methods in place, all these 4 layers, you are able to get to the desired outcomes. And basically, we need to prioritize what is the desired outcome you want to achieve in your next quarter and quarter after. So supply chain use cases are here. They are across 3 areas within your organization. So you can find AI and machine learning use cases in the channels. You can find them in the data sets or data foundation that you have. And you can also find them in the processes. For example, at retailer warehouse, for picking, packing, put away, you can have algorithms, machine learning driven algorithms that can drive it for you. Then for order fulfillment, you can have customer segmentation, machine learning driven algorithms that can run it for you. And in the data opportunity, there are a lot of advanced analytics capabilities that exist out there that allow you to do your store clustering or localized assortment for your stores or dynamic pricing for your stores. So all of these use cases can either be found in the channels, and globally a lot of companies, they try and explore them from data first, their processes second, and channels at the third stage. Because this is the natural progression. All of this data is mostly in-house, and you are able to explore that in a better manner. What I've done is I've actually jotted down a few use cases of retail in different verticals. So you see downstream use cases. We have assortment localization, opportunities related to space optimization and merchandise planning, opportunities related to pricing. Then you have your mid-tier supply chain where you have your network design, replenishment order optimization, or logistics order optimization. And if you go upstream a little bit, then you have your vendor-based optimization and long-range demand forecast. All of these use cases are primarily driven to drive machine learning capabilities within your organization. And as a starting point, I think we need to work on the lines of understanding that which KPIs out of these that we want to impact first. A lot of companies desire that we want to start off by margin optimizations. So there are margin optimization, gross margin optimization, machine learning algorithms available or initiatives that you can take in order to impact your gross margin. But depending upon where you are struggling at this point in time within your organization, prioritizing it accordingly, I think that will make a difference in terms of the explainability part. Towards the end, I just want to leave you with 4 steps. One is, I think we need to scan the data within your organization, assign a score of maturity within your organization in terms of where you are currently in the state of maturity of your data. You need to prioritize those use cases. I always say that you have to assign difficulty impact metrics in terms of where your low-hanging fruits are, and then automate the obvious. Don't be ambitious enough to start off with the most complicated one. We always say once you have this difficulty metrics in place, then you are able to understand how can we automate the obvious. And lastly, we can always, as an organization, as Change Stores Association of Pakistan, we can influence the ecosystem that we work in. There is a lot of goodness that we can drive from syndicated information, and from there we can make an impact. Thank you very much. I'll move on to my panel conversation. Thank you for listening. We have talked about during the session a lot of upstream innovations, midstream innovations, and we're talking about now in terms of the last mile innovation and making sure that the key to speed to market is achieved through this. First question I'll try and direct to Ali, who is Chief Operating Officer at JOMO. Ali, the topic that we want to cover with you is delivering exceptional customer experience at the doorstep. Just give us a brief in terms of how has JOMO journey been so far in delivering exciting customer experience, and how is it paying off for the company?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you Usman. आपने जो इस वक्त सारा जो explain किया है data science की dearth, आसिफ पीर ने भी पहले data की importance and how to create business intelligence and insights from it is actually all related to customer experience, which is what JOMO is all about. और JOMO पे आपके जो आपने जिस वक्त सवाल किया है उसका जवाब देने के लिए I actually go back away from technology for a second, because the way we look at solutions to customer experience, solutions to digital and the future, is to look at the history of where we have come from. Or actually over time, innovation has always been an enabler of the same needs and the same solutions. अगर आप लोग अपने बाप दादा अपनी पिछली जनरेशन्स को देख लें तो एटलीस्ट मैं तो आपको बता सकता हूँ कि मेरी ग्रोइंग अप मेरे घर पे वही गोश्त वाला आता था, वही दर्जी आता था, वही दूध वाला आता था, और उसी को my parents trusted, my family trusted them. And the reason that was important is because there was a relationship. The relationship created trust. That trust will never change. आप उसी दुकान से जाके उसी ब्रांड से अपना प्रोडक्ट खरीदेंगे जिसको आप ट्रस्ट करते हैं. अगर ट्रस्ट नहीं होगा तो no matter what technology you bring in, it's not going to work. So if one of my big heroes in life has been Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, agar aapko, I'm sure all of you know, but he created Apple, and his biggest philosophy of creating the best product was not creating the best technology. He said कि आप customer experience से work backwards करें. अगर आपको पता है कि आपने best customer experience किस तरह deliver करना है, उससे आप वर्क बैकवर्ड्स करें और देखें आपको टेक्नोलॉजी क्या चाहिए टू enable it. So coming to your question, which is basically around fulfillment and last mile, when JOMO started its operation 2 years ago, सब कुछ सारी दुकानें बंद थी, कोविड था, we didn't have any bricks and mortar, and we wanted to make sure कि अगर आप घर में बैठे हुए हैं, लॉक्ड अप हैं, और अगर आपने वो शॉपिंग एक्सपीरियंस रिपीट करना है जो आपको एक दुकान में मिलता है, वो आपको किस तरह मिलेगा. So we created a last mile model, which thankfully has been the basis of our success and is actually something I would like all of you to look at for your own businesses. Because हमने ये नहीं कोशिश की कि हम एक टेक्नोलॉजी ला के चेंज कर दें किसी चीज़ को, ई-कॉमर्स स्टार्ट कर दें. हमने कोशिश ये की कि वो जो एक्सपीरियंस जो मिस कर रहे हैं कंज्यूमर्स, लाइक वॉकिंग इनटू अ स्टोर एंड बाइंग a dress or a shoe or any beauty products, we should be able to deliver it to their home. They should try it. वो पहले product देखें, उनको अगर सही लगता है वो, और if they're satisfied, then they keep it or they return it. That try before you buy concept has existed outside Pakistan for a long time. But in Pakistan, where labor is more affordable, we have not been able to utilize it because we just think it's not possible. इसलिए हमारा जो लास्ट माइल का एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, इट हैज़ बीन द बेसिस. समबडी सेड अर्लियर कि जी आप लोगों के पास डेटा है तो आप किस तरह लॉयल्टी क्रिएट करते हैं. हमारी 65% ऑफ आवर सेल्स कम बैक फ्रॉम रिटर्निंग कस्टमर्स. दैट इज़ द पावर ऑफ लॉयल्टी एंड ट्रस्ट. That we have obviously connected everything seamlessly through technology. From the time the order drops into our ERP system to the time our customer service responds on a call. But that entire value chain, जहाँ किसी चीज़ में हम किसी को betray ना करें, is the most important thing for any retailer, any business, and any brand. And that really is the basis of our business model. And technology is basically just an enabler and a catalyst.
Oh, thank you. I think JOMO, what unique differentiator that they've created is try before you buy. And I think you have also started working on slotted deliveries as well. And I think you're the most relevant person to answer that one as well, but other can pitch in. This as a differentiator, where do you see that? Providing the capability for the customer to try before they buy, before they hand off over the cash. How big of a differentiator is this in this economy? So we start off with you again, and then others can contribute to this question as well.
Sure, Ji. I hope I'm audible. So first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. The thing is that what Ali Saab has just mentioned, try before you buy, of course, is a great opportunity in terms of targeting the customers and of course making sure कि उन लोगों को जो चीज़ मिल रही है वो एक दफ़ा तसल्ली कर लेते हैं कि हमें एक चीज़ मिल गई है, हम ट्राई कर लेंगे, उसको पहन लेंगे. But I personally think that in terms of if you talk about, let's say, a far-fetched area, Toba Tek Singh या कोई इस तरह का हम लोग किसी गांव की बात करते हैं, वहाँ पे कितने ऐसे कस्टमर्स हैं जिनको शायद जूता पहनते हुए शू जैक इस्तेमाल करने की आदत है. Just to give you an example. So उसमें automatically आपका वो article जो है partially damage हो सकता है. My point being कि हमारे लिए, I believe this is a changing evolution, so to say, where we can obviously hope that the industry itself will be in a position where it is being translated across to the customers in a way कि उन लोगों को इस चीज़ का आइडिया हो कि हमारे पास जो चीज़ आ रही है हमने उसको पहनना किस तरह सबसे पहले, ट्राई किस तरह करना है, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्केलेबिलिटी कि क्या ये चीज़ पॉसिबल है कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपके दिन में लाहौर में 10,000 ऑर्डर आते हैं तो क्या 10,000 ऑर्डर्स के आप अगेंस्ट कितने राइडर्स को अलाइन करेंगे, कितने राइडर्स हर जगह पे जाएंगे और कितना टाइम एक कस्टमर लगाता है टू ट्राई दैट पेयर ऑफ शूज़ ऑन. So of course I believe that's partially a problem. I see that it's something that if you guys can address it, then of course this is something that's great. But and then obviously जवाद साहब इस बात से एग्री करेंगे कि हमारे जो ई-कॉमर्स में लॉजिस्टिक्स में ख़ास तौर पे हमें जो एक बड़ा मेजर प्रॉब्लम फेस होता है, that is that the customers tend to cancel the order. Why? Because they haven't seen the product itself, or for that matter if it's from a brand that has sort of doesn't have the loyalty that you guys have, तो ऑटोमेटिकली उनको फिर होता है कि अच्छा जी पता नहीं मैंने ऑर्डर लेना है नहीं लेना वगैरह वगैरह. So that is one thing that is evolving day to day, and then of course we've got key players like for example Daraz. उन्होंने recently, I'm sure that you guys know, that they took out about 30,000-40,000 fake sellers from their the database. Point being that they've sort of tried to build that trust overall in the e-commerce industry. So that obviously is going to change and revolutionize things.
Ali, I think your take on this would be really appreciated as well. But one thing before you start, I want to add the other aspect of it, the population density part of it. Once you have designed a model where you're actually allowing people to try before you buy, And I get what you're saying, that in terms of efficiency, it will hamper a lot of efficiency challenges. It will create a lot of efficiency challenges. But how do you tackle that today with low density population areas in Pakistan and then providing this service?
Okay, so again, I go back to, and I actually agree with the point. I do think scalability and even economic viability is not everybody's cup of tea. And we have over 2 years understood how to make it more viable. Having said that, try before you buy. This is not the point I was trying to make. My point was, JOMO जैसी कंपनीज और हमारी गिनती के कंपनी होंगी जो ई-कॉमर्स में अपने आप को ग्रो करने की और इवॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रही है. हमारा 2 रोल है. एक रोल तो हमारा ये है कि हमने कंपनी को सक्सेसफुल बनाना है. That is obviously everybody's job and everybody's purpose. But as an e-commerce, fulfillment, technology-driven company, we have another bigger role in Pakistan, which is to build trust for consumers about e-commerce, not just JOMO. And वो trust उसी तरह आएगा जब लोगों की transition आसान हो जाएगी. Without being critical, but I think one of the biggest problems in Pakistan, and we've had e-commerce now, players for now 10, 15 years, is people lost trust in delivery. आप order क्या करते हैं, चीज़ क्या आती है, कब आती है भी है कि नहीं आती है, यही तो सारे questions हैं जो हमने address करने हैं. Our goal is not to become $1 billion company. Our goal is to, whatever we do, we create something that is a model that other people can evolve from. It doesn't have to be our model. It has to be a model about making sure that अगर आपके सिर्फ पेशावर में concentration है stores की, but you have excellent products, why can't you sell it in Karachi if you do not have access to e-commerce? We deal with e-commerce, we deal with regular traditional retailers because we are a marketplace who are dying to be on e-commerce, but उनके पास वो human capital है ही नहीं, platform नहीं है, Shopify Plus नहीं है, ERP systems नहीं है. तो basically role define करना बहुत ज़रूरी है for companies like us, and I'm just speaking for JOMO, and I totally accept it's not everybody's thing, and it does have economic challenges.
Jawad, coming on to you now, being an industry veteran, we've talked about future of these verticals, and where do you see role of technology in future of logistics and last mile delivery?
Assalamu alaikum ji, and thank you so much for this opportunity. The question that I have understood is basically the role of technology in last mile delivery as well as the vehicles involved. Well, the battery operated vehicles are coming in the market and everything. We have tested a few of them, but they aren't up to the mark right now. Why? Because of the fact that we can only use what is available in Pakistan. The mileage that they give is around 100 kilometers in one charge, which is not good enough for a courier, basically because of the fact that 25 to 30 kilometers is his house run and office run, and then 60 kilometers for 20, 25, 30 deliveries is a bit less. And then charging that bike is another problem. It's basically that. But still, the innovation is going on. But it's not very fast, frankly speaking, as far as the industry is concerned. And I will be very candid and open with you. We all courier companies, JOMO is doing an excellent job. That we cannot compare ourselves with them. That is a time stipulated delivery, and that is pretty different from ours because of the fact that they take the product to the customer, they let them open it, then they let them try it even. And if they want to buy 2 or 3 items out of 10, they can do that even, and the courier can take the rest of them back. We, as an orthodox or mainstream courier company, we do not do like that because of the fact that it's very expensive delivery. We cannot afford that, nor our clients give us that sort of a leverage to do that kind of a delivery. There are a lot of things involved because of the fact that a mainstream courier, if we let them open the packet, there is another chance of misplacement or mishandling of the parcels and everything. So in mainstream delivery, courier company, we are still facing challenges of delivering 24 hours in a day or 48 hours. No doubt the technology is there, the systems are there and everything, but at the end, it boils up to the fact that it's just a metric pass or an FA pass courier who is on a motorbike and who needs to deliver that parcel. More than technology, I think, उन पे बैठे हुए मुझे देख के मुस्करा रहे हैं, तो जस्ट वांटेड टू बी कैंडिड क्योंकि काफ़ी टेक्निकल और बीच में बातें होती रही हैं, तो मैंने कहा थोड़ी कैंडिड डिस्कशन भी हो जाए. It's basically this कि more than technology, what I think we need is economies of scale. What we need is, we need our clients who are the merchants, the retailers and the brands who are sitting over here right now to understand our problem. To be open with you, I reach economies of scale when I give my courier at least 35 to parcels to deliver in a day. Only then I will break even or maybe make money. ठीक है? 35 to 40 deliveries per day is a difficult job for a courier, and at least a radius of 5 kilometers, not more than that. वो 5 किलोमीटर के ऊपर अगर 20 से 25 डिलीवरीज उसको दिन की देना, तो सबसे पहले तो एफिशिएंसी आप वहाँ रीच करेंगे. टेक्नोलॉजी को भूल जाएं अभी आप. इसको अब आपने कैसे रखना है, कैसे इसको आपने, वो उसके पास ऐप है, ही इज़ डूइंग इट ऑन दैट, ही इज़ डूइंग इट ऑन द पीस ऑफ पेपर, वट एवर इट इज़, बट ही नीड्स टू परफॉर्म बिफोर राइटिंग एनीथिंग और बिफोर वी मेक अ डेटा आउट ऑफ इट. वो पहले कुछ कर तो ले. We give him a radius of at least 8 to 10 kilometers with delivery of 40-45 parcels. There is no efficiency. लेकिन उससे कम के ऊपर we have to burn money. So there is a slight kind of a very interesting kind of a trade-off कि यहाँ पे करना क्या. इसको फिर डेटा एनालाइज करना है, आपके पास फिर सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं, उसके पास ऐप है, वो उस पर कर रहा है, रियल टाइम ऑनलाइन डाटा अपडेट हो रहा है. ये बात की बातें हैं. अभी पाकिस्तान इज़ अ थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्री. अभी तो आप 24-48 आवर्स के अंदर डिलीवरी कर लें तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. और एक्सीलेंट कोरियर कंपनी अगर आप ये कर लें तो, और आप अपने राइडर्स को कम से कम इतने पैसे दे सकें कि वो अपना घर चला सके, कम से कम एटलीस्ट. राइडर्स जब उनकी टेक होम बन रही होती है 35,000 40,000, तो ये एक अच्छी टेक होम बन जाती है. लेकिन इसमें भी उनका कहाँ गुजारा होता है. इसी वजह से फिर बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हमें देखने पड़ते हैं. अली भी साथ बैठे हुए, मिसप्लेस हो जाते हैं, पार्सल्स गुम हो जाते हैं, चोरी हो जाते हैं, स्नैच हो जाते हैं. तो अभी तो बॉल गेम जो है ना टेक्नोलॉजी से बहुत पीछे है सर जी.
Last question, and I can see a connection with what you have said. The logistics companies or delivery companies today, इनकी back office maturity अपनी कैसी है? The decision support systems that you run on where to send your rider, between doing a milk run versus a drop delivery. How do you make those decisions? Are those still run in spreadsheets or are there systems behind it जिनको आप leverage करते हुए ये decisions कर रहे हैं?
वो proper customer service in the CRM system is back there. It's basically that. And then we have some extra resource, some jumper couriers to do some extra thing. For example, there is a time stipulated delivery. I'm in office and my office is only till 4 o'clock, so I need this delivery before 4. And some of them, they give house addresses and they say that in the morning we are in our offices, and in the evening I'll be at home to deliver it at that time stipulated time. Yes, we do manage that. 80 to 90% with call centers, with state-of-art CRM systems and everything, with having a direct chat with the rider, calling him. There is a proper control tower at the head office who is controlling all these time stipulated extra kind of deliveries from there. So the technology is in place. The technology is there. We have automated softwares. We have artificial intelligence. I don't know about Ali must put a word or 2 cents on it. That we have basically a grading system of the consignee which we give to our brands. For example, if I, Jawad Mirza, have ordered 10 orders online, so how many have I received or how many have I accepted? If I have accepted 8, then my rating is 8. If I've only accepted 2, then my rating is 2. That means I'm not a very serious buyer. I'm just a, kind of window shopper, or I just buy for the sake of fun and then refuse it. I feel power in that. So we have done certain kind of integrations. Then all of our brands, all of our basically clients are integrated in our software. Once they receive an order, it's automatically booked with us, and then we arrive it, and they can see all the statuses online. So basically, not the bulk chain transaction is not there to like 80%, but I guess at least to 50-60% we are following that. And then basically the IoT, which is Internet of Things, we are doing, we are working on that also. So the IT is always busy, and we are advancing as far as technology is concerned. Not only us, the whole industry is. The competition is very strong, that is why. But the challenge that we face, which I have said earlier, is not about IT. It's more about the ground realities that we are facing.
Thank you very much, respected panelists. That concludes our talk.